3/4 of the Bible speaks on creating wealth and abundance and prosperity. The other small percentage is talking about faith and it's talking about faith and religion and all that other stuff. Like it talks about that. So you have to listen and read the Bible and pull out the gems and apply these things to your life. If you believe that it's just going to be you that goes out to build a business, you that goes out to create wealth, then guess what? God didn't create the world by himself. He delegated. He put things into position and gave them commandments to do the work. And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl, to have dominion over every living thing that moveth upon the earth, every situation, every circumstance. That is the commandment for you to have dominion over those things, right? The institutional educational system was designed for you to have very basic knowledge and for you to actually have the mindset of poor, middle class poverty, right? But also have the mindset of consumers and workers, meaning that somebody else is having dominion over us, our lives. Somebody else is benefiting off of our abundance and all those things, right? They're taking our little and making it much for them. Welcome in. If you are here, give me some fireballs in the chat if you're ready to learn about the poverty programming trap and how to avoid it, because I'm going to go in today, y'all. I'm going to go in today. Are you ready for it? Now, I want to share with you, I want to explain to you my definition of abundance so that you'll have some context as we're going through today's trainings. My own definition of abundance is exponential amplification of resources, opportunities, and successes where growth begets more growth, creating a ripple effect that leads to a compounding effect that generates ever increasing wealth. So that is my definition of abundance, so that we're on the same page and you guys are understanding, because a lot of times you hear these concepts and words and everybody has their own definition. So now we can get on one accord with that. So I'm going to take you back a little bit. So for those of you who've been following me, I do extract biblical principles for success right out of the Bible, because all of the answers are there. In fact, when doing research, what I discovered is 3/4 of the Bible speaks on creating wealth and abundance and prosperity. The other small percentage is talking about faith and it's talking about faith and religion and all that other stuff. Like it talks about that very little compared to the 3/4 of the Bible and the scripture that talks about money and abundance and creating wealth and multiplying and all these things. So that's one myth that we can dispel, that if you're a Christian or if you're a believer that you're supposed to walk around in poverty, right? And only just give, but not ask to receive and all that stuff. Like those things are just like old practices, right? They're not principles at all. And I will say that some of the stuff that you guys are going to hear today is going to initially seem counterintuitive, because coaching is counterintuitive, meaning that if you already think that everything, the things that I'm going to say is going to seem counter your beliefs. But if you already knew these things, you would already be producing wealth and abundance for yourself. So you have to be open to receive. You have to be open to be coachable and open to learn new things, right? In order to have new wealth, right? And so I'm gonna share with you all in Genesis, right? I'm gonna go back to Genesis just to build a foundation, and then we're gonna get into some of the poverty programming that we can actually break for ourselves. At least if we're aware of it, then we know how to break some of these programs that have been instilled and installed into us. In the beginning of the Bible, Genesis, God talks about his creation. And I'm going to just briefly, like really quick, go through this. Like on day 1, God created the heavens and the earth and the light. Day 2, he divided the waters from the sky. Day 3, he pulled back the waters to reveal the dry land and told the land to produce vegetation and plant fruits. He delegated. He delegated. He didn't go do everything, and he could have did everything all himself, but he delegated, right? So you have to listen and read the Bible and pull out the gems and apply these things to your life. If you believe that it's just going to be you that goes out to build a business, you that goes out to create wealth, then guess what? God didn't create the world by itself. He delegated. He put things into position and gave them commandments to do the work. And then day 4, God created, he separated the night from the day and gave the sun rule over the day, the moon rule over the night. Day 5, he told the waters to bring forth abundantly, right? There's that word again, abundantly, right? The multitude, the moving creature that hath life and fowl and may fly above the earth in the firmament of the heaven. And God created the whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, again, after their own kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. On day 6, God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his own kind, which means that the living creature has to multiply itself after its own kind, and creeping thing and the beast and of the air after its own kind. And God made the beast of the earth after its own kind, and the cattle after his own kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his own kind. God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them do what? Have dominion over all these things that I just created. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and all those things, right? And Genesis 1:28 goes on to say, and God blessed them, meaning man. That means you. That means me. That means human beings, right? He blessed us. And he said to us to do what? First commandment, go, be fruitful, and multiply. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying it. I wanted to take some time to invite you to join me in the GovCon Challenge. The GovCon Challenge takes place once a month, where I invite a bunch of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs to come and have me teach you the 5 things you must do to pre-qualify your business to land lucrative contracts with the government. So join me in the GovCon Challenge. Click on the link in the description. You'll be glad you did. Join as VIP for exclusive behind-the-scenes information, and you could become a part of the top 1% of entrepreneurs across the nation. Now back to the video you were watching. That is a commandment. And replenish the earth and subdue it, to put back what you take out, and subdue the things that hold you back, right? To subdue, to stomp on, which means you're above your circumstance, whatever's holding you back from being fruitful and multiplying. You're already above it, right? You just don't know that you're above that. So whatever that situation looks like, maybe it looks like it's overtaking you, but no, you're already above it. He says to subdue it and to have dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl, to have dominion over every living thing that moveth upon the earth, every situation, every circumstance. That is the commandment, for you to have dominion over those things, right? As you see, I just gave you a brief history of the foundation of life, but also the foundation of who we are as human beings and the power that we have. So if you don't know that you're powerful, I'm here to tell you that you are so much more powerful than you are. And you already have within you all of the gifts, the knowledge, the skills, and the information that you need to actually go out and be fruitful and multiply. But here's the thing. In school, we have learned, and this is where the beginning of the programming starts. So back in history, the institutional educational system was designed to dumb us down. It was designed for you to have very basic knowledge and for you to actually have the mindset of poor, middle class, poverty, right? But also have the mindset of consumers and workers, right? So already the system here where we live, in this here United States, where we live, the system was designed to dumb us down from what God has designed us as human beings to be able to do. It's designed to dumb us down for various reasons, right? Various reasons mean that somebody else is having dominion over us, our lives. Somebody else is benefiting off of our abundance and all those things, right? They're taking our little and making it much for them, right? But you have the power to take your little and make it much for you. So how do you do that, Dr. K? You're supposed to multiply your wealth, right? But we've been adding our wealth all along, adding money, trying to figure out how to make a dollar out of 15 cents and how to pay our bills and all this stuff. So when you're adding, on the other side of addition, the opposite of addition is subtraction, right? So when you're adding, you have to subtract, right? And so every dollar that we've been making it so very slow to where we fear loss, we fear losing it, right? So instead of doing what God said and multiplying our money, we've been spending our money. So when it comes time to invest our money, then we're afraid because all we can think about is spend. All we can think about is spend and lose, right? But investing is completely different from spending, right? Because it says you should be like a tree that's planted by the rivers of living water. What does the rivers of living water do? What does it look like? When you think about the rivers of living water, it looks like this. It's flowing. It's a stream. It's flowing. Flowing water is called currency, right? Still water that's not moving, it's just still, is dead, right? Another word for money is currency, right? Money is currency, but it has to be moving, which means that you have to put it into circulation in order for it to live, in order for it to bring you back the multitude of abundance. And I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by that. Money has to move. If it's sitting there, then really you're consuming and you're spending it, which is why you end up with nothing at the end of the day. However, as an example, when you go to, how many of you ever been to a casino? I'm not a gambler, but I don't, because I don't really play with money, but I have played a little bit. I've gone to Vegas and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just put some money in a machine. So I remember one time I went to Vegas and we're in a casino and I'm the only one that's like, I don't play with money, but I was like, just have some fun. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just have a little bit of fun. So I put $1 in a machine. So in this machine, you can either put $1 or you can put $100. Right? For me, at the time when I had a scarcity mindset, I feared if I put $100, I'm gonna lose $100. If I put $1, then I'm playing it safe. So a lot of times we are playing it safe with our money, right? We want to play it safe with our money because with scarcity mindset, we're thinking about the loss bet more so than we think about the wins, right? So I actually hit on the dollar. So the dollar turned into $1,000, right? But guess what? So that's like, $1 goes into $1,000 1,000 times. Okay. So guess what would have happened? So even though it seems like a win, I really lost because guess what? If I would have played bigger, I would have won bigger. If I would have played $100 and multiplied that by 1,000 times, then that would have been $100,000. But yet I won 1,000 because I played small. So you either gonna go big or you're gonna go home when it comes to creating wealth and winning for yourself. You cannot be cheap on yourself. You have to be willing to pay to take bigger risks. So now watch this. There's a story in the Bible. It's a story about Elijah and a widow. So how many of you are familiar with that story? Yeah. So a lot of times when I was growing up, we would hear about all these biblical stories like, oh, okay, that's cute, right? Oh, that's nice. She had faith, right? She had faith and did what the man of God told her to do. But we missed a lot of what the Bible was really designed to help us to accomplish. And a lot of things were taken from the Bible because if we knew how to apply those principles, like everybody would be very wealthy. Everybody would be hella wealthy. You'll be able to manifest some things into existence and all those different things. But they moved a lot of things away from the Bible. But there's still some gems in the Bible that you can actually apply to your life and actually see some things change in a way that it multiplies your income, your revenues, your wealth, your everything. So the widow in the Bible, she had lost her husband and he left her with her boys and a bunch of debt. So she owed, because he had debt, the debt automatically transferred to her and her children. And so the debtors were coming after her. Hey, your husband owes me this money. You now owe this debt. And she was broke. She didn't have much of nothing. And so along comes this man of God who knocks on the door and he's like, hey, God said, give me some bread. And I'm paraphrasing here a little bit. He said, give me your resources. What do you have in your house? So I don't really have much. And a lot of us we've been in positions, and I've been in positions. I'm grateful that I'm not in that position anymore, but now I'm in a position to where I'm able to educate other people on how to get themselves out. But you got to be open, you got to be coachable, you got to be willing to take risks on yourself, right? If you're not willing to risk on yourself or take a risk on yourself or to bet on yourself, how could you expect anybody to want to bet on you if you won't even bet on yourself? It makes absolutely no sense, right? So anyways, he says, give me your oil, give me your piece of bread. I was sent here by God to ask you for this piece of bread. And she said, all I have is this little bit of flour, this little bit of oil, and I was just planning on baking my last piece of bread, and me and my children, we were going to lay down and die. This is just a lot of times like you have opportunities to make investments in yourself, to circulate, to put your investments into currency so that it can actually breathe life into your finances and come back multifold. But a lot of times you're like, all I have is just this little, and I was just planning on paying my car note, spending the money as opposed to investing the money to make money, so I'll never be in this position again. So he told her, he said, I want you to go out into the marketplace and borrow all the vessels that you can get. And I want you to pour that oil in all the vessels, right? And she did it out of obedience, she did it, right? So he told her to go borrow. Now watch this. Now in the world, we were told that borrowing and debt is bad, but he told her in the Bible, biblical speaking, these are principles in the Bible that unless you understand them, they mean nothing to you. But until you understand them, then you can apply them to your situation and your circumstances, and you can know how to get out of lack. You can know how to free yourself from being stuck. You won't know how to do that until you go read it and understand it for yourself. So you got to have understanding for yourself. And so he told her to go do that, and she did it. She came back and she began to pour the oil, and before you know it, all of the vessels were filled until she had no more vessels, but yet the oil was still pouring. So she got herself into what? The overflow. So what she did not know was he taught her this Bible study. It's turning into a little bit of Bible study, but I got to lay the foundation, y'all. He taught her how to go create wealth for herself. Go create a business. You got to go borrow and create the business so that you can get into the overflow and use the overflow to pay the people that you owe. And now you have more left over to create profits for yourself. If you don't borrow, if you don't know how to leverage debt, y'all, I'm just telling you, you will never get out of your situation. But here's the problem. Let's just say there's an opportunity. Maybe you're in a situation where you're like, it's the end of the year and I'm just going to take my last and I'm just going to pay my mortgage and I got to pay my car note. Just still water, right? I'm just putting money into the still water that don't bring me nothing back in return, that kills my cash flow, that kills the abundance, that kills my prosperity, that disables me from the ability to multiply and being fruitfulness, right? Let's just say there's $100,000 opportunity for you, right? Let's just say, for instance, maybe you make $80,000 a year in your business, on your job. Maybe you make that. And with that income, there's somebody out there that's willing to lend you $100,000, right? Because you're going to be paying that, right? They're willing to lend that $100,000 to you. But guess what? Nothing in life is free. There's a cost for borrowing. It's a no-brainer. That's why the whole lending institution exists in the first place. It's the cost for it, right? But yet this person that's willing to give you the money, right? You need $100,000 because you found a educational program or some type of training or some type of investment that's going to show you how to take that $100,000 and multiply it 10 times. Multiply it, not add a dollar. Now, the best investment that you can make, I'm going to make it personal, that I have ever made was investing in educational programs that showed me how to multiply my revenues, my money, my lifestyle, my health, my wealth, know everything, how to multiply. Because guess what? Knowledge is power when you apply it. So having knowledge that shows you how to multiply, that's the best thing that you can ever invest in. It's better than investing in the stock market, right? You'll make a little bit of money in the stock market, but what you know can set you free, right? You should know when you know the truth really does set you free, because when you invest in knowledge, then guess what? Nobody can go into your head and remove that knowledge. Now you know how to multiply all of your money by 10x or more. And you know how to do that over and over and over and over and over again. And so, anyways, this is what we're doing. For me, I teach people how to fish, which means that you have to come with your hook, be right alongside of me, and we fishing, right? You can't borrow my hook. You can't have my hook, right? But you can bring your hook and I can show you how to fish. But you got to be willing to bet on yourself in order for you to fish in this pool of wealth and knowledge and all that and so on and so forth, right? So anyways, hope this was good for you. But that's how those are some of the things that I wanted to share with you, how to avoid the programming trap. Stop thinking about how much it's going to cost to borrow money. So just imagine all that, y'all. It's just like your money is supposed to be making money for you. And if it's not, you're doing it all wrong. You're spending it wrong. You're investing it wrong. You're saving it wrong. I'm just saying, you got to learn the truth. You got to learn how to make it make sense. So anyways, if you go to govconchallenge.com, you get registered for our upcoming challenge. It's a challenge. Challenge means it's going to challenge you, right? It's going to challenge you where you are. It's going to challenge you to become more. It's going to challenge you to think more. It's going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone. It's going to challenge you to learn more about your business and your business potential. It's going to challenge you to learn more about money and how it really works. It's a challenge, right? It's not an easy thing. It's not for everybody. It's a challenge, right? So if you go in thinking you're going to come out the same way, then guess what? It's probably not going to be for you. But the challenge is only $97 for general seating. But I wouldn't want to just be a general member if I was you. I would want to be VIP or platinum member, because then I can come on with Dr. K and ask her questions. That's me. I want to bet on me. I want to be as close to the fire as I possibly can, so that overflow, that anointed overflow, can flow right to me, so I can get these nuggets that everybody else that's in the other rooms, the low bearing fruit rooms, like they over there, they gonna miss this. Like, I want to be right there when the anointing just overflows and it just comes onto me. So we're here to help you not only learn how to make more money, but how to maximize your money and how to make your money make money, right? So that is the principle and the will of God. And this is what we're doing. This is what we're teaching. You want to be a part of that. The entry into being a part of that is to get pre-qualified for government contracts by going to govconchallenge.com. This is where you're going to know all of the reasons why you should be doing this, all of the things that you need to do to actually do it successful, how much money is on the table for you, and if you're selling the right thing, or is there some things that you can do to actually shift yourself into a realm of prosperity. So you guys have a great evening. Have a great new season, and we'll see you on the money side. We'll see you in the challenge.